Hello everyone. Thanks for meeting with me today for our Lunch and Learn on reforecasting and what if. I'm Jenny Mello and we are going to go through the next 45 minutes here reviewing some how-tos and reforecasting practices in Compass. And then we will spend the last part of the presentation going over some live questions and answers. So, why are we all here today to talk about reforecasting and what if? It's really about your goals, right? That's what your budget is. Your budget is your goal. Every bank, credit union, financial institution has a goal. A goal of who they want to be and how they're going to get there. That's what your budget is. That's what your budget is telling everyone. And in most cases, that goal doesn't change, but how you're going to get to that goal often does. So what is your budget? What is that? We all know your budget. You spent days creating this. You've spent hours discussing its directions and plans, and you even got it approved. Yay, that's great. Your budget is essentially a forecast that was made at a historical point in time to show a way on how you're going to get to your goal. But we know real life doesn't always have that same plan. Right now, everyone is going to be affected by rates going up, but what else? You know, it could be anything. Things that are starting to happen that you didn't anticipate when you built that budget back at that point in time. Prepayments coming in, cancellations take place. Real life has a different plan than what you first set out for. And that's what reforecasting is. It's never losing sight of your goal, no matter what happens. And really, you do this every day. You're doing it all the time. You're doing it naturally in conversations and plans that come up. But why is it so tough when it's formal to do it? Your budget, your plan, that was just a map. There are still so many several routes and many different ways to test out on how you're still going to get to your goal. So how do we take this real life? How do we take what we didn't anticipate and get that into Compass? That's what we're going to go through today. But before we get there, there's three main factors to get to this reforecasting point. And this is what you're doing regularly already on your own. You're identifying your variances. Where are we right now and where did we think we were going to be? You've identified the cause to those variances. You know why it's different, the real life that's taking place, things that are transpired, that's what's going down. And by identifying that reality, you're able to know what are we going to do about this. This is where reforecasting comes in. We know things have changed, and in our brains we have thoughts of a new plan, and we can get together and we can discuss all the pros and cons of these plans. We're already doing it. We do it so well naturally. So now let's do it formally. Let's put that budget to work by accounting for real life so you can now see what it takes to get to that big picture. Now you can see what is really going to go down in order for us to still get to that goal. And guess what? The awesome thing is, if you start some of these habits now, put in real life as it happens, little pieces at a time, and when fall comes around, you are already going to have a great base for starting next year's budget. No more starting from scratch. So let's throw out these first three questions here. Let's get this easy stuff out of the way. What you're already doing on your own. You're identifying your variances. I'm sure you're quite familiar with your variance reports. Here we're looking at an income statement. I'm only focusing on what we've done so far. We're already into the first quarter, and I want to see where my biggest variances are. Remember not to let those huge percentages throw you off. You know, look at the materiality of it. And at quick glance here, high-level category, I can see my real estate loans are already showing a variance. But bottom line, that still looks good, so maybe I don't really care about this right now. Wrong, you do care. And here's why. Because what are those outages going to do to us if they continue? Yeah, it's only a $13,000 problem right now, but if we do nothing, it's going to end up being a $115,000 problem at the end of the year, and it most certainly will start to affect my bottom line. So you know all of this. You know your variances. I don't have to be telling you this, but I just want to remind you there is a big picture out there. Whatever variances you have, you know you have them. You've discussed them before. So put your discussions in Compass so now you can actually start to see your plan. You see your thoughts laid out for a year, see how your plan is going to affect every other bottom line, every other ratio that you take a look at. So back to the mechanics here. We see our income is off, but do we focus on volume? Do we focus on rates? Do we focus on both? If you don't already know what's driving your variances, Compass can help you also identify your area of focus for you. I highly suggest a simple variance analysis. This will detail all of your accounts as well as their budget variances if you're not sure where to start. Our last report showed, yes, we had our variances in real estate, and here I can see each one of those real estate accounts broken down, and clearly my biggest variance here is in that first account, real estate fixed. So let me pop this out just a little bit better so we can read it. So here's that income variance that we've identified. Reading to the left of this, yes, it's going to show me those volumes, those yields that are affecting those variances. We know it's going to be one of those two, but most helpful is to read to the right of this report. The right column will tell you which of those two is the main variance issuer. Compass is telling me right here it's the yield. Clearly it's my yield which is causing the biggest variance. And materiality does matter. I mean, as we just saw in this simple variance analysis, we had 5 different residential accounts in just that one category, and a few of them had variances. So where do we start? So the biggest time saver I can tell you about materiality mattering is to start with your top 5 accounts first. Chances are those are the ones that have the biggest impact to your reports. They have the biggest impact to your bottom line. So if you start there, most likely you could be done after that. Then, as time permits or as you get real life information on some of those other accounts, you can fill in more pieces down the road. So Compass gives you a mix report to quickly show what are the main drivers of your balance sheet if you don't know these already. Yes, we knew residential real estate fixed stuck out to us, but always keep in mind the other big players on the asset so you know where you're going to go next. Liabilities too, I mean that's important, right? We need to know where all of this is coming from. And you don't have to reforecast every single account. Remember, start with your top 5. Pick your top 5 and go from there. So once you know the big areas of focus, what's Compass, what's that forecast telling you right now? Your budget is locked. Your budget is static. There's nothing we can do about that. Those are the goals we're trying to reach. This is now a real life balance sheet. This is what your forecast is telling you. And while these numbers are great, I love numbers, don't get me wrong, I'm totally going to use this opportunity to plug some pictures. It's always fun to put things in a picture perspective. A graph, I double click on some accounts. What does my forecast show me right now? I know in my variance report, balance was an impact of that. And right here, I can see that decrease that's starting to happen to my volume. And another side to that was my yield. My yield falls flat and starts to slightly decrease. Well, we know rates are projected to go up, then why is my yield going down? Lots of these reports are instantly graphable. Try it out if you get a chance. Double click on something, right click on something. It's a lot of fun. So these reports here are translating directly from the forecast that you have right now in your account projections. So let's jump over to these account projections. Here I just chose the one account, residential real estate fixed, the largest mix on my balance sheet. Here's that volume graph that we pulled from the balance sheet. And over in that EOM balance column, my projections tab, that's where I can see the drop. And also we remembered that yield didn't seem reasonable. So here, right here in the middle, I see my offering rates going up. So there's that yield. Why not the yield? And maybe I just stop here. Maybe that's it. Maybe I take my balance sheet, maybe I take my yields to my loan department and have them tell me what it should be. But Compass also gives you the opportunity to look at all of the pieces that are coming up to that balance and yield. At another, again, quick glance, looking at this projections tab, something else is standing out to me. All of these zeros right here. I don't see zeros anywhere else on this tab. I know this is an active account, so maybe the discussion with my loan department is more about pipeline than it is just about ending volume. Maybe they can't give me ending volume. They don't talk like that. Because if all of these zeros show these are the new balances is like your pipeline. If there's nothing new coming in at these great new offering rates we're going to have, how is our yield ever going to move then? Everything that we download each month is showing me this forecast that I'm looking at here. One way that these new balances, all those zeros, one way that they get populated is from the total maturities that we have rolling off or repricing. These are maturities we download every month from our core file. At quick glance at these total maturities, the same time frame, I see all those zeros coming into the new balance. I also see some total maturities that are looking quite larger compared to the rest of the year. So maybe some prepayments came in. Maybe there's some new loans that are coming due. More pieces of that can help drive my discussion that I have with the loan department. So the point that I kind of make here, there are so many different ways to look at these variances. So depending on how your team operates, maybe high level is all they need. Just give me the balance sheet, I'll tell you what to do from there. Or maybe you can take what stands out to you to ask about it. Use all these different angles to share and discuss the variances with those who are going to help you give the answers that you need to start putting that new direction in Compass. Because you can't do it by yourself. You don't know every single nook and cranny, so you've got to go to others to help populate some of these forecasts. Okay, there's a lot of talking that I just did there. Let's do a quick check-in with everybody because I love the polls. Let's throw one out there. Have you started forecasting yet? And I like to use this poll because it makes me feel better that I'm going to do it for your benefit. So just go in, fill in one of the answers. I love to show you that no matter where you are in your process, no matter what you're doing, who you're looking at, someone is right there along with you. It's always nice to get that reassurance that, hey, I'm not alone. Others think and feel the same way. Others have the same obstacles. So who's in that same boat with me? So I'm just going to give a couple more seconds here till we close this poll down so I can share all of the results, which I will do right now. Awesome. That's great. I see a lot of you know you're not even forecasting, but you are thinking about it. That's great. No, you have some ideas that you'd like to play out. That's awesome. That's where we come in on support. You have some ideas. You're not sure the best, fastest way to get them in there. Give us a call. Let us know. We'll help show you some of those quick tips. Yes, and it's really fun. That's great. You're already reforecasting. Maybe we can learn some new things on here about ways to enhance that, take that one step further. Let me go ahead and hide this. We'll get back to it here. Okay. So we've identified our variances, we've identified the cause, and now we're identifying the reality. What is taking place in real life that we need to start building into Compass? And I kind of mentioned you were already doing this, whether you even realize it or not. You're identifying the reality of your situation and you're coming up with a new plan, just like this extremely relatable story I'm going to share. So here's you, and you're on your way to work, as usual, and today you've come up to a roadblock, and you are faced with two choices. You're either going to sit there and wait in hopes of it clearing up and still getting to work in a timely manner, or maybe you see the street lights are out, trees are down, utility workers are everywhere, and you realize, I'm just not going to get there in time, so I'm going to take a detour, right? You just reforecasted your way to go to work. Same rules apply to your budget. You have a budget, you have a goal, there will be some kind of a roadblock that comes into the way, so how are we just going to reforecast our way around it? So there's three main steps before you can even look at Compass, before you're reforecasting. And this part's all on you. I'm sorry, guys, it's like your homework, but luckily it's the easiest because you're doing it every day anyways. But this is where Compass cannot help you. So before you start getting into Compass, you're going to do a few things. You're going to get with your team, right? Get with your group, because you're not the one making all of these decisions on your own. You've got to get some input from others. They're the experts. They know what's going on. You're going to show them your results. I found a few things. I found out why we were off. So here's all of the pieces that are making up our variances. And then together, you get to discuss an action plan. This is your reforecast. What now can we do to get back on track, to get back to that goal? But once you have some of these action plans in mind, this is now where Compass can help you. One of the best, most underutilized features of Compass is its ability to perform what-ifs on the reforecasting that you want to test out. And as you can read, there are 3 steps for doing this as well. You're going to make copies of your Compass plan. This way your regular plan remains intact. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to change it. We're going to make a copy of it. Then we're going to try a few things out. When in doubt, compass it out. You know, you may have one action plan. You may have 10 different plans. Get them all into Compass. Compass is going to tell you, bottom line, ratios, how that plan is going to play through to everything. So when in doubt, try it out in Compass. Then you get to present the options. Yay, fun reports for showing off your new plans. There's a lot of hesitation that people have of just jumping into Compass and doing it. Let's test out some new forecasts. Let's test out some new plans. And I get it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but really, you can never hurt Compass. And one way you can be assured that you're not going to hurt Compass is by making a copy of your current plan. So whatever forecast you want to test out, whatever new plan you want to see flow through will remain completely separate of how your live data works and looks right now. So to make a copy, if you're already in Compass, you're going to go to File, Save As from your top menu bar. Then it's going to take you to your data folder. You're going to want to make a new folder and call it the name of the forecast or the plan you want to test out. So I just called mine What If Number 1. Maybe yours is new loan production. Maybe it's percentage runoff. Whatever the case may be, name your folder what plan you want to test and save it in that folder. Then Compass will instantly refresh. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see exactly what folder you're working on. So this is reassurance for you. I'm no longer in my live data plan. I just saved a copy of my plan into this brand new what if folder that I'm working out of. If you're not in Compass just yet, you can do the same thing in Windows. Just go straight to your live data folder. You're going to make that new folder. So again, I called mine What If Number 1, but yours could be called anything. I'm going to highlight all of my Compass plan files, and I know it's a Compass plan file. Mine has the MDB extension after it. Right-click and copy those, and then you're going to right-click on your new What If folder and paste them right into here. The next time you open Compass, you're not just going to say, okay, open my last live data plan. You're going to hit the browse button so you can browse to this new what if folder. Now we can do whatever we want to this what if plan because it's no longer connected to our live data. So make a copy. Another helpful tool is when you're actually in Compass, update your plan name if you want your reports to represent the action plans that you are testing out. Like again, I said, maybe you discussed one new direction for getting back to your goal, maybe you discussed 20 new directions. You can come to Utilities from your very top menu bar, select Options all the way at the bottom, and rename your actual plan name here. So I just called it 2% loan growth, so you can see how it will flow through. Renaming it here will then attach itself to the header of any reports that you're printing out. So everyone knows, no matter what report package I'm looking at, it is the result of this particular action plan. Okay, so that's the easy stuff. First, let's talk about rates. We all know rates are going up. And in Compass, you all have some kind of rate forecast built in, and you do have more than one forecast. So again, as I just said, rates are going up. If you have a blue chip forecast, your rates already have that prediction built in. So I've just highlighted a few of the key driver rates here. As long as your pricing models are tied to some driver in this screen, you are already taking rising market rates into consideration. So it's great. Nothing you have to do there. If you have rates update, this may be a flat forecast, which you can manually update your own forecast for your own prime directions, but you will be able to take advantage of what we're going to look at right now. So I mentioned you all have at least 3 rate forecasts built in. Let me show you all 3 of those. Let's look at prime right now. Prime forecast for this particular plan says by the end of the year it's 4.47. Those are my regular plan rates. If I look in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, there is a scenario option. I have it boxed out there. You all have a high rate scenario built in where it is going to look at some type of a forecast to show what if rates start going up a bit more aggressively than my plan rates. The third one is you have a low option built in. What if they still went up, but not as much as we thought? Or maybe what if some of them went up? Or maybe you want to type in some of them going down. You all have at least 3 types of forecasts. Yes, depending on how you maintain your forecast, your highs and your lows may be a little different. But you have 3 immediate market rate conditions that if you have 30 seconds, you can see what all 3 of these are going to do and how they're going to impact your current forecast without even having to go to your account projections and change anything. Awesome. Great. Already done. 30 seconds, you ask. How is that? Computing the plan. Compute. It's another reason why it's Compass's best friend. Not only does computing keep you in check and keep you in balance, but use this little drop down in the upper right-hand corner to compute your entire income statement, all of your yields, all of your costs, anything that has to do with rates. Compute your entirety on a brand new market rate scenario. That could be one what-if test for you. Maybe you don't care so much about volumes right now. What if you just want to what-if some rates? This right there, you're done. Compute your plan on a new rate scenario. You may have one what-if completed already. So if you want to talk more about what your rate forecast is telling you, how that can work with you, again, definitely, just give us a call. We'll take a look at yours. So that's great, rates, yay. But let's look at some projections. First, you know this, I know you know this, but I'm going to say it anyways. You have a budget tab. Do not touch this budget tab. That is your locked, approved budget. Those have the goals that we are still trying to meet. So leave those alone, nothing we're going to do there. everything goes down in the projections tab. Actuals, that's real life taking place. Nothing we can do about that. Those are just our new directions. And then we have our projections. This is where it all happens. This is where we take those discussions we've had, those thoughts, those ideas. We take our real life and we put it into Compass. This is where we do our reforecasting. So, going back to our example of residential real estate fixed, one of our bigger loan categories that had some variances. And I took my findings, all my results, and through my various discussions, I did confirm that, yes, we had some expected prepayments come in. That's why those total maturities are much higher. But also, yes, there is a current pipeline in place for new business. So all those zeros shouldn't even be in there. The pipeline could be as vague as, hey, we're going to get back whatever's rolled off for the rest of the year or something like that. You may not have really big direction on that. We're getting back whatever's leaving. In which case, you can highlight your entire year of your forecasted maturities, what's set to roll off for the rest of the year. Right-click on your highlighted column to get a total, average, and trend option. And I can see here that $6.8 million in maturities is expected to roll off for the rest of the year. So if they say we're getting back whatever we're putting out, I can then come to my, $6.8 million, sorry, there it is. I can then come to my new balances. I'm highlighting my new balances, also known as my pipeline. I right-click on that one, but instead of choosing that bottom option, calculate my total, I'm going to choose my quick edit menu. I'm sure you've seen this before. You are probably most familiar with these top 4 options. These are the ones most commonly used in the balance sheet area. But today we're going to use something new. Distribute replacing existing. This is going to take a total value, I've typed in my $6.8 million, and evenly distribute it across all the months I have highlighted. And it's going to replace those existing values that I see in my pipeline there now, so I don't have to worry about overstating anything. So when I apply that $6.8 million distributed out evenly, it now gives me a new monthly pipeline of $757,000 in new volume per month. So now I start to see my ending volume start to even out. There's my balance sheet. That's looking a little better. But also now look at my yields. They're starting to show that rising rate benefit. So I have new volumes coming in at these fun new rates. Now I can start to see the impact to my yields. Double bonus. Don't forget, when you're in the projections and you're coming to these bigger accounts and you're making these kinds of changes, you can view the very bottom of the projections tab to see immediate feedback on how that revision is going to change what the current income looked like before you made those revisions. Super helpful tool. What does this do to my annual income? But maybe their direction is a little more exact than what we just did there. Or maybe they're going to give you some volume changes instead of some pipeline changes. We were able to apply this manual edit by highlighting the new balance column and right-clicking. But as long as this gray button below EOM balance says manual, I can actually apply these quick edits to any 3 of these columns that I have highlighted right here. Highlight a column of cells. Doesn't matter how many months I highlight as long as there's more than 1. And when I right-click, I can get this quick edit menu. End of month balances, new balance, averages, doesn't matter. I can right-click to get a menu. Maybe do I constant, that first option. Every single thing I've highlighted is going to be the same value, no change. Ramp to a value. Maybe they gave me a specific ending goal, a target balance they now have by the end of the year. Whichever option you find works best for your forecast, use it. But I do have a small but important disclaimer. These quick edit options are available at the account level only. So here's how you know you're at the account level. Here's what a typical chart of accounts may look like. In the account level are the accounts that have that notebook piece of paper icon next to them. Let me highlight those right here. This is where you can use the quick edit menu, any one of these notebook piece of paper levels. And I said it a few times, quick edits are manual entries. I can manually make these quick edits. I've been saying that because I want you to know that these numbers are just that. They're manually entered, so they are not going to change until you manually go back in and change them again, which in a way is kind of great. If you have a new pipeline, if you have new goals, it's important. You want to get them in there. But no, of course, you're not only left with manual edits. You can also perform high-level forecasting. Using the subcategory level of Compass, or what we know and say are these yellow folders, this will allow you to hit up multiple accounts at once, only for forecasting percentage changes. So this quick model here, this will allow you to apply one annual percentage change to your entire forecast. Using a new model will allow you to apply varying percentage changes throughout your entire forecast. Whichever option you use, this model will apply those same percentage changes to all of the accounts within that yellow folder. So if anything, this type of yellow folder modeling is an excellent way to update a lot of static balances all at once. Let's at least just refresh our forecast to get a good view of what current life looks like if we were to push that out for the next year. So you hit up the yellow folder, go as high as total assets, you can refresh everything all at once. Percentage change modeling will actually update its own forecast every time you do a new month-end download. So if you choose to go this route by using the growth models here on the right, every time you do a new download, your reforecast will continuously be refreshed. You won't get stuck with a static forecast again. Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way so everyone knew where can I use quick edits, where can I not use quick edits. Not is basically a yellow folder. Okay, so that's the loan side of it. So there's a few different ways we can get loan pipeline, loan ending volumes in there. But what about the funding side? You know your balance sheet always has to stay in balance, assets equal liabilities plus capital. And every one of your Compass balance sheet accounts has a Fed Funds tab. You can make any and every kind of change you want to these projections. Compass will always keep you in check by balancing your changes first to Fed Funds. This tab's purpose, sole purpose, is to track your overall sold or purchased position. So you know, what is my Fed funding with every single change I'm going to make? You could make all these forecast changes all day long and just let it roll into Fed funds if you wanted to. Or you can scroll down to your liabilities for more reforecasting plans there as well. So yes, rates are going up. And I know from my balance sheet mix report that money markets was one of my larger deposit accounts. Is there a possibility that some of these could run out? What if that happened? What if that happened? So not only do we know real life that rates are going up, and knowing from real life I was able to forecast my loan pipeline, I can at this point choose to make another save as of my Compass plan to forecast something that hasn't happened yet. So I want to keep it out of my real life forecast, but it's something that could very well happen, so I know it still matters to test it out. That part I'm going to leave up to you. Whether you want to do it all in one plan to see everything full circle, rather you make another copy then and do it separately so it stays out of real life, that piece is up to you. Do all your what ifs in one plan, keep them separate. You can make as many copies of Compass as you want. One thing we talked about was using those percentage models at a yellow folder for all over modeling, but you can also use those same percentage models at the account level by clicking this gray button here. Quick model. We're going to do a what if. I want to say, what if We have a 20% annual loss because of these rising rates. I come to my quick model, I type in -20 in there, and once I click OK, I can see that ripple through the rest of my forecast. And again, all the way at the bottom, what is going to happen to my bottom line expense if that were to take place? Can I compete? Is it okay to just have 20% of these funds leave the bank? While I'm still in this money market account here, we can do a quick Fed funds check. Is this reasonable? Is my new funding position reasonable? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe this leads to other things. Maybe we need to blast a 3-year CD promotion or something. Whatever the case may be, Compass has you all built into itself. So use it. Use what you can. Use what you know. And remember, this is just a copy of your plan, so you can't hurt anything. Take some of the information you heard or the balances you know of, and you can use some of these tools to quickly pop in these numbers and get to presenting what these new plans mean to your bottom line. So, presenting these options. Whether you've built in some real life or you've done some what if, by the end of it, you're going to need some reports. And I know you know a lot of the regular reports, a new year-to-date variance report to show this new direction, a new yield projection report maybe to show how that's been revised. I'm not going to go too crazy here. Use what you're used to using. Use what you know. Regular reports that your board, your group is used to looking to is great. But here's where I will go crazy. Graphs. I love charts. I love graphs. A picture is worth 1,000 words. We have a number of graphs all ready to go in the charts section of your report directory. And the nice thing is these charts have a lot of the same properties as your regular reports. My 2 favorite properties is picking the time horizon. Yeah, maybe not just this year. What does this look like going into next year as well? And at the bottom, the option to include previous compute results. Yes, right? What a great way to compare what was this like before I made the changes, what is this like now after I made the changes. That's my favorite option here. You can also go to appearance. You can change colors. You can change the type of graph. A lot of these come in as bar graphs. I love line graphs, so I go there and I make everything a line graph. But let me show you what one of these graphs looks like. So here I have a previous compute. There's my little blue line in my key that you can see, and I'm still looking at my 2% growth plan. My previous plan, here's my old stuff. Here's what it looked like before over the next 2 years. But here's my current plan, my current compute with all that real life built into it. So a lot of those graphs have these same options. They're fun. Try it out. See if something could work for you. Another great report that's full of life is this annual activity report. You can find this in the summary section. So yes, we put in some real new life volumes. We put in some new real life projections. This is a great report to show. Here is what it's now going to take to get there. Is this reasonable? Is this everyone on board with this? Great, take a look at it. Tell me what's not reasonable so we can go in now and come up with a new action plan. Or better yet, build your own report. Your Compass has a custom report designer in it that can report on almost anything you need. I'm going to the loan people? Great. Let's build them a just loans report to better focus that discussion. Going to a deposit committee meeting? Awesome. Same drill. Build them a deposit only report. The custom report designer is awesome. And yes, you guessed it, it's fun. It's great to use because you're only pulling in what you need and just the information you need. All right, let's do a quick recap here. There's the 3 factors of regular forecasting. You're identifying your variances, you're identifying the cause of your variances, and you're identifying the reality of your situation. Then, 3 steps before reforecasting in Compass, you're going to get with your team, you're going to share your results with them, so you can get to discussing your new action plans and your reforecast. Then 3 steps to actually reforecasting in Compass. You're going to make copies of Compass, you're going to try a few things out, and you're going to present your new options. I know I just went over a whole ton of information with you, so let's see if we've got any questions to share. Bear with me one moment. Okay, I understand why someone might reforecast, but what if you have permanent accounting change that affects your budget and your budget yields for the rest of the year? You still can't edit and relock the budget. If the time has come where you have decided, you know what, this approved locked budget is not going to cut it anymore. We see what went down the first half of the year, but now these next 3 quarters, we really need to get some better edits in here. You can edit your projections for what your new real life direction is, and we can relock in a new budget to say, hey, forget January, February, March. There's nothing we can do about that. That's over and done with. But now we have a new plan, April going forward. I'm going to put that new plan in Compass and go to Utilities for my top menu bar, and I can choose Lock the Budget for just April going forward. So you are able to edit your budget. It's just a matter of going through the projections, because that's where all the calculations take place, that's where all the computing happens, getting the new budget in your projections, and then we can relock. So definitely give us a call if you need help with that. Are the reforecast data items available as a formula in the Excel add-in so you can compare them to the budget data? Yes, they are. The forecasted data is available in the Excel add-in. There's a key in there that says, do you want to look at your budget end of month balance, or do you want to look at your regular end of month balance? We can use a code to look at the regular end of month balance and just tell it to look at the future months. So don't care about what I did right now. Show me that regular end of month balance, April through December. You can pull that into the add-in to do comparison. So definitely give us a call. We can help show you how to get started with that. Oh, she has a follow-up with that, or he, I'm so sorry. Or is there a report that shows actual versus budget versus reforecast? So if you want to show 3 different pieces in there. The actuals, there's nothing we can do about that. That is real life. So we can show a report that says, here's my actual January, February, March through my budget January through March. But your reforecast, you can't really reforecast January, February, and March because that's real life, that's over and done with. So there's really no way to show what is my actual through March versus what is my budget through March versus what is my reforecast through March. So, and I'm going to call you out here, Daniel, if you want more, I want to know more about what you're looking for on that report. So if you don't mind, give me a call or shoot me an email at the end of this. Tell me what you're looking for, and I will show you the best way to get that done, because they're kind of 3 different things that we're looking at, and 2 of them mean the same thing. So I want some better direction from you on that. Ooh, Guy, what a great question. Can you review how to create the special reports again? I purposely did not show you how I created that, but I would love to show you how. If anyone is interested in how to use the custom report builder, put a note on that survey that you're going to get at the end, or send me a direct email. Maybe we can even do a mini class. I'll get together with everyone and we will do an overview of how that custom reporting feature works. It's super helpful. Okay, last question here. I know I'm right at my time. When making what-if changes, does the information flow through to the interest rate risk model so you can run interest rate risk model on your what-if data? Christine, beautiful question. Yes, you can. Compass in your rate shock screen has the ability to perform a future shock. And when you hit that drop-down menu on future shock, it asks you how many months out do you want to start with. So if you're doing a what-if change 6 months from now, what if we have this significant change to our balance sheet? You can go to your compute the rate shock, do a future shock 6 months out, or whenever that change is going to take place, all of your interest rate risk reports have a future setting in the properties. We'll go to properties and say, show me future results. We can then see how your EVE or your NIM shock will be impacted based off of that what-if change to your balance sheet. So please, again, give me a call, shoot me an email, let us know if you want more help with using that future rate shock option so you can shock your what-if. Oh, this is a great suggestion, which I will pass on to our suggestion box. Jeff wants to know, is there a way that we could get FHLB rates in the rate area? This is actually a question for programmers. This is a little outside of my expertise area. So Jeff, I'm going to get an answer for you on that. Here's why we do, we don't, what we can do, and I will follow up with you directly for more information on that. And then another question, is there a way to have graphs with a custom time frame, year to date, last 2 quarters, etc.? The graphs do have properties, but the properties are usually 12 months out, 24 months out, 36 months out, 48 months out. So if there is really something specific that you want in a graph, but we're not able to pull it in the standard template properties we have, I will look up and see if you have the Excel add-in. The add-in is a great way that we can just export all of this data to Excel and we can build custom graphs, because that's the one thing we can't do in Compass. We can do custom reports and custom ratios, but we can't really build custom graphs. I'm wondering, maybe can we set up a report to show that custom time frame you want? So if you're talking about like ROA or something, we can set up a year-to-date ROA report or a last 2 quarters of my ROA ratio. We can build a graph off of it in the report that way. So Jeff, I'm going to follow up with you again, just like Daniel. Give me a better idea of exactly what you're looking for, and I'll show you the best way to get it in there. All right, everyone. I believe that's all I have for this today. Those seem to be all the questions. I just want to give you a heads up about next month's Lunch and Learn. Rates are going up. So what does that mean to my offering rates? The market's going up. What does this mean for my pricing models? Come join me next month. We're going to talk a little bit more about those pricing models and what the rising market rates, how they're impacting your current offering rates. So stay tuned for that. And then, as you know, we also offer some in-house events here at our office in Schaumburg. We have a round table coming up in June where we just get together with our peers and talk about all things banking. Or we can do a detailed advanced coaching course. Are you really looking for more of a Compass-related discussion with your peers as well as us on some of the more advanced stuff? And then again, how are you doing this? How does this work for you? It's just a great time to get together with everyone else to see what are they doing and how do they use the program. All right, so thanks for attending, everyone. Here's the 1-800 number if you want to give me a call. You can email us, support@plansmith.com if you have any direct questions that way, or my personal email. It's going to be Jenny, Jenny, @plansmith.com. Shoot me any questions you have. I'll get back to you and we'll go from there. All right, take care. Thanks again. Bye.